We have the Jets meeting at lunch today in Mr. Johnson's room. So again, if you like math, science, engineering, technology, or donuts, please be there.
You just noticed Emma's shirt. York had a great showing at this weekend's Stanford Modeling Nations Conference. A special shout out to Leica, who won a research award. Congratulations.
So you've got a while to donate food, but we're really urging everybody to bring food.
And non-perishables, and please check the expiration dates. So we are going to have a competition on who can make the most prettiest bin. So you can decorate them during lunch or during a free, and you can make them pretty and stuff. And we are also going to have a competition on who fills up the most bins.
And so this is for class points, but on a greater scale, it's really for the good of our community. So we're really urging everyone to participate.
Hi, my name is Alin, and I'm an exchange student from Indonesia. And this weekend, on Friday, I will have a presentation about Indonesia on room 8 because it's International Education Week. And also, if you have a question about IFS or ES program or about my country, you can come to me. Thank you.
Okay, this past weekend, 25 students attended NorCal JSA's Fall State Convention in Santa Clara. I'd just like to recognize a few students for receiving Best Speaker Awards or Golden Gavels. They're literally just gavels. So, CJ Pagacion won 1 Golden Gavel, Grace Sizemore won 1, Jill Littman received 1, and Tristan Laney received 2 Golden Gavels. I'd also like to congratulate Jill for becoming a member of the Chapter Affairs Department, and Grace Q for becoming the Director of Publicity from Northern California, JSA. One more thing, I swear this is the last one. Okay. I'd also like to recognize McKenna Gibson for being the top fundraiser in Northern California, JSA, raising over $6,000 to go to students so they can attend so they can attend conventions. So, thank you.
Hi, if you guys are planning on going on the Ashland, Oregon trip and have not given your preliminary check to Ms. Reese, please see her if you still want to reserve a spot. Thank you. If you are in yearbook, the deadlines are coming up soon. Please work on your pages because I do not want people staying late after school working on these. So go in during your frees, go in during the mornings, come in extra mornings if you need to. Just please get them done.
Another intrepid trio went to Arroyo Grande this weekend to participate in the first ever Central Coast Brain Bee. You'll see them up there wearing blue shirts. I forgot to wear mine. Morgan Cam participated, as did Amelia, who got 3rd place. Hats off, brains off.
So on Saturday, the cross-country teams, boys and girls, went up to CCS for the Crystal Springs for the state qualifier. And the York boys finished 3rd place and advanced to state. So big shout out to them. They'd all stand up. Finished 2nd in league and also competed at CCS and did very well. Jenny and Laura, I think, both ran personal records, I think, at Crystal Springs. So thank you very much.
If you are a supervisor of a work job area, there is a mandatory meeting in room 8 for supervisors during work jobs. Also, how much time do I have? Very little? 10 seconds? All right, so I mentioned the form that is under the Dean of Students page
that asks you to contribute questions that you might have that you would like to ask a professional sex educator. So do that. She is interested in your feedback, input.
Tomorrow, during lunch in the design shop, the York Futurist Society is meeting. We have Dan Wood, a captain for Southwest Airlines, talking about the future of aviation in the world of drones.
Sorry, I forgot. Tomorrow is the combined path groups meetings. So we're meeting by 2 and 3 path groups. If you are not sure where you're meeting, there is a list that is on the club bulletin board and a list on the bulletin board outside my office to help you.
If you are a York music student, you need to be looking at haiku and check the schedule for the next 2 or 3 weeks because it's a little bit different from normal day-to-day as we work up to the winter concert in about 3 weeks' time. So check haiku, make sure you know where you're supposed to be. Thank you.
How can one of the deepest, most spectacular river gorges in the Sierra Nevada go almost entirely unnoticed by the public? This was the question I kept asking myself as I stared at the granite canyon the San Joaquin River carves through the mountains. Earlier that year, while cruising Google Maps, I stumbled across this interesting rock formation, a deep gorge shouldered by rocky domes and cliffs. Naturally, I was curious, and I wanted to know more about the area. So I looked it up. But to my surprise, I found very little. I started to realize that this was a place the internet knew very little about. By piecing together all the photos and maps I could find, the few trails around the area began to become apparent. Eventually, I was able to convince my parents that the San Joaquin River Valley was a worthwhile place to visit. And so, last spring, we set off to go find it. As we drove through the Central Valley, I caught my first glimpse of the San Joaquin River. A parched riverbed, holding barely a trickle of water. As we wound through the foothills of the Sierra, we passed several strikingly beautiful, yet eerily low reservoirs. And with each, the river seemed to double in size, until at last we began to climb into the mountains. Above ridgeline, the ever-expanding landscape of forest and rock stretched ahead of us. Then finally, we saw it. The deep gorge, accented by a huge granite dome looming over the horizon. The sun was setting as we neared the dome, so we called it a day. But sunrise greeted us with the full glory of our surroundings. Dawn light on the dome, over the confluence of 2 rivers, surrounded by snow-capped peaks and wilderness. After breakfast, we eagerly grabbed our packs and began to hike. Down, down, down. We started off in pine forest, but quickly dropped through sparse oaks and shrubs, and then on to the granite. As the day wore on, the heat baked us, and we realized we weren't going to make it to the bottom. Instead, we scrambled down a short side slope and peered over the edge. All I could see was the immense slab of granite stretching for hundreds of feet above and below us. And although I couldn't see the river below, I could hear the distant roar of its currents smashing against the rocks far below. The entirety of the scenery was awe-inspiring. And yet, hardly anyone goes here. And then I started to think about why. Why could such a beautiful place go unnoticed? We follow the pack. We form our ideas from those of others And we always seem to think that everything there is to explore and understand has already been discovered. We are influenced by the ideas of others every day. But I think if we can follow our own paths, at least sometimes, we will all make discoveries and make the world just a little more complete.